Today I'm going to be talking about 3 easy flatwater paddling trips along Highway 20 in Washington's North Cascades, Diablo Lake, Pearrygin Lake, and Leader Lake. Even if you don't bring a boat along, Highway 20 is a very scenic drive through Washington's North Cascades. Diablo Lake is a reservoir on the Skagit River right next to Highway 20. Just upstream from Diablo Lake is the much larger Ross Lake, which is another reservoir. The south end of Ross Lake cannot be reached by car, but can be reached by boat if you are willing to carry the boat for a while. On the north end of Ross Lake, you can drive to the water, but you will have to first drive into Canada to do it. But let's not talk about Ross Lake. Today I'm going to be talking about an easy paddle trip on Diablo Lake. The east-west dimension of Diablo Lake is about 2 miles, but there is a portion of the lake called Thunder Arm that drops down to the south about 1.5 miles to where Highway 20 crosses Thunder Arm on a bridge. South of the bridge, the water continues for almost another mile until it turns into Thunder Creek. If you add up all these distances, there is a lot of shoreline that makes up Diablo Lake. The wind can funnel down the Skagit River Valley and make for some rough water on the east-west portion of the lake, so keep that in mind if you venture very far. The lake lies within the Ross Lake National Recreation Area, so there is little development other than the highway that runs along the lake's southern shoreline. There is a campground called Colonial Creek near the south end of Thunder Arm, where Highway 20 crosses over the water. The campground is basically split into 2 halves by Highway 20, with a north half and a south half. Both halves are national park campgrounds. The campground on the north side of the highway has a beach where you can drag your boat to the water. The campground on the southern side of the highway has a boat launch. Like most national forest campgrounds, you can reserve a tent site online. There are also 3 boat-in campsites, but you will need a permit ahead of time in order to camp there. If you get in the mood to put away your paddle and grab your hiking boots, there are plenty of hiking trails in the area. If you keep driving east on Highway 20, you will eventually pop out of the North Cascades and run into the town of Winthrop. Winthrop is a nice little town with gas stations, grocery stores, and plenty of opportunities for a tourist to go exploring in the various shops, all of them with a bit of a Wild West theme. A 2.5-mile drive north of town will bring you to Pearrygin Lake. This little lake is only 1 mile or so long and very narrow, making it another great opportunity for a beginner to practice their paddling strokes and quickly cool off during the heat of the day. The east side of the lake is dominated by Pearrygin State Park. It's a pretty average campground, except for the fact that there are lots of lakefront campsites in this park, making it ideal for several spur-of-the-moment paddle practice sessions out in the lake. There is some kind of resort at the north end of the lake, and mostly just trees and brush on the west side of the lake. As far as hiking goes, there is rumored to be a trail that goes around most, if not all, of the little lake. North and east of the campground, it appears the rolling sagebrush hills are some combination of national forest and state fish and game land. I took an early morning walk up the road and had a nice view of the North Cascades on the western horizon. After leaving Pearrygin Park, I was driving east on Highway 20 a little east of Twisp the following morning when I saw a roadside sign for Leader Lake Campground. I decided to pull in just for fun and check it out for maybe 10 or 15 minutes. It was so peaceful and remote that I ended up camping there for the rest of the day and overnight. Leader Lake is another reservoir, roughly a mile long. Although the lake is surrounded mostly by trees, the land for miles in every direction is rolling sagebrush. It is basically a little oasis in the middle of a very arid area. I loved it there. Sometimes the unplanned stops are the best stops. The land surrounding the lake is owned by the Department of Natural Resources. The campground is on the southwest side. Some cows seem to have seized ownership of the southeast side, and the north side appeared to be up for grabs. I saw more turtles per foot on the logs floating in Leader Lake than I have ever seen before. This is another campground that has two halves. The west half is next to the dam and has a boat launch. The east half is a little further down the gravel road and has several waterfront campsites. All the campsites appeared to be first come, first serve. There is no water or electricity, but there are primitive restrooms. You can do a little walking on the north side of the lake where a rough gravel road climbs up an arid hillside, but this is not really a place you visit in order to go hiking. Paddling and swimming are the main attractions here. Other than that, Leader Lake has little to offer other than a great place to just hang out and decompress for a while in eastern Washington. For more Flatwater Paddle Trips, check the video description below for a link to my webpage where I have all my paddle trips listed. Thanks for watching.